Hi, my name is Aiden. This is my brother Brendan. In this video, we are going to start our quest to write a traditional fantasy novel. Okay? Roll intro.
Woo. Intro.
That was a good intro. I like that intro. Dang, that was some nice intro work there. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're writing a book, okay? Brendan here, he's already written a rough draft, right?
I've written a rough draft of a novel, and we're going to work on a novel in that world, but at a different time.
Right, so it's a prequel.
Yeah, so it's
right?
prequel.
Yeah, okay. So we've been writing books for a long time. Never have we ever...
Amateurs.
We're amateurs.
Amateur writers, but we love story. We love to tell stories. We love to write stories, talk about story.
I love to pick his apart. He loves to pick mine apart, laugh, and all that stuff. Look at my dog. Look at him. No. He's having a time.
Hi.
Alright. I need you to go over there and calm down, okay, buddy?
How's it going to work, Aiden?
Okay, so how this is going to work. What we're going to do is Brendan, he's already written me a prompt, right? So he already wrote a little bit of the prologue. And we're just going to pass it back and forth with each other. He's going to write a little bit. I'm going to write it in kind of like a call and response a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to make a dog disappear in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, he's gone. Oh, look. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pass this off to each other, writing bit by bit.
So I wrote a bit. I don't know what, 4 or 5 paragraphs or whatever. Got a huge chunk. I wrote till I couldn't think of anything else, and then I sent it to him. So he's going to write the next little bit, and then we'll talk about it, discuss it, go back and forth. We're going to read pretty much all of it for you.
Yeah.
And have it all out there. So this is the whole process from start to finish.
Yeah. The idea is we want to have a finished book, a finished copy at the end, and we want to bring you on for the entire ride. We want you to see the creative process, as we're coming up with the names, as we're coming up with the stories. We want you to see the editing process, which is brutal.
The fighting, the not fighting, the everything.
The, duking it out. So that'll be fun. But we want to bring you in along for the ride. And sometimes, when we cut something back or say, hey, this doesn't work, and the pain that goes into taking something away. So yeah, but we're going to keep it really simple for now. So Brendan here, he has written something already.
Is my name Brendan? Is that it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name's Brendan.
Yes, his name is Brendan. My name is Aiden. We're brothers. Did we say that before?
I think we said it before.
Okay, cool. We're brothers. So how this is all going to go down is Brendan's written me a prompt. I'm going to react to it. So I'm going to read it to you, right? I'm going to give you my reactions as I read it. And then we're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to ask you, pick your brain and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we'll trade off that. So on times that I write, you're going to pick my brain on what I've written, right?
Yeah.
When I write my bit, I'm going to take you along for the entire journey, essentially. So I'm going to write, I'm going to record my entire writing process, and then explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay? So yeah, I think we're going to go to Brendan's prompt.
Yeah.
I recorded my reaction to it already, so we're just going to flip to that. Ready? So point to the left in 3, 2, 1. Hi. Okay, so this is me. I'm going to read Brendan's writing. I've never read it before. I'm excited to see what he's got. I have a vague idea of what it's going to be about, but not very much. So here we go. All right, prologue. In the beginning. Agorath looked out at what must have been a dream, a new land for them to call home, a new land for a new beginning. Crisp air and forest greens, mountain ranges filled with snow and life far off into the distance, not darkness and smog of rancid sky. He stood atop a small hill clearing in a forest which gave him the ability to see for miles. A heavy green forest lay before him, but just at the edge of his sight, with a squint, he could see the forest's edge. Beyond was a mystery, but it looked to be flat grassland, if he had to guess. He would make them a new... Okay, wait, so vaguely, I know that this is early times. This is way back in the day, in the beginning of civilizations and stuff. I really like the imagery that he's putting out here. I can see it. It's like a Bob Ross painting. Like, it's going to be really good. He would make them a new life here. His people deserved a better life, and he would be damned if they treated this new home like they had their homeland. Now a barren wasteland, rent apart by the awakening. The foul air flowed from the sky for leagues beyond the shores of their once-upon-a-time home. They had to travel far to find this, well, he could only say paradise. Unfortunately, it was taken. Oh. Much closer than the far-off grasslands, as in standing only feet ahead of him, stood on all four legs a growling creature covered in fur, a long muzzle with sharp, bright fangs. Its fur was white and majestic, flowing gracefully in the gentle breeze. It was something so new, so different. He had never seen anything like it. He seemed primal, connected to a power here that coursed through the ground, through the very essence of all being. He could feel it just as sure as he believed the creature before him could feel it. But just as he began to wonder how to communicate with this majestic but primitive animal, it spoke. Okay. So, I like where it's going at. I don't know if Agorath here, I don't know if he's a human, I don't know if he's an orc, I don't know if he's a elf, I don't know if he's a dwarf, I have no idea. I know that Brendan's going for, like... I know he's going for kind of an early age, back in the day kind of thing, and I know it's kind of the beginning of stuff, but I don't know if that means, like, these are the elves, and they're meeting the wolves for the first time. I know in his story, in his rough draft of his first book, right, so this one's a prequel from the thing that he's already written. I know that there's wolves, and I know that they play a huge part in the whole story, but I know that this story is supposed to be something like the wolves beginning a little bit. But dang, I like it. I like the feel of it. I have a lot of questions, because a lot of this is pretty brand new, and maybe Brendan doesn't even know it himself, but like the awakening, I have no idea what that means. I have to say though, he really set the scene with this, with the nature and the forests and the mountains and everything. What's very interesting is, and I think that I'd love to expound on this a little bit more, is Agorath here seems to really see this creature, the wolf, who's never met before, as some kind of a sentient, you know? Like, there's something about this wolf here that is beyond just being like a wild animal. So, like, Agorath can clearly see that this owns the land, or is a part of this land, in a way that means that it's owned. But it's interesting, like, that he knows that, because if it were me, if it was like, you know, people coming over, like discovering of the new world, right, of the Americas, if they had seen a wolf just running around kind of in a forest, you'd imagine that they would just be like, ooh, wolf, food, let's get it. Or, ooh, wolf, predator, we're going to die. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that he sensed it before it spoke. Like, it didn't speak, and therefore he was like, oh, it's a thing. So... I don't know. I'd definitely be interested in asking him about that and kind of writing into that as well and figuring it out. Timer, you're a wolf. Come here. What do you think? Nah, he doesn't want to. Okay. Well, cool. Back to me and Brendan from the future? Past. Future. Yes. So the prologue. Okay. So Agorath here.
What's your very first... Your just first impression? Boom.
I think it's like reading a Bob Ross painting.
Ooh. I don't have his hair, but I like him.
His hair's just down here.
Down here.
Yeah. Yeah, great stuff. I thought it was really cool. Like, immediately as I was reading it, I was just like, this is Bob Ross. This is straight up just Bob Ross. Okay, also, I have a question. Agorath. Mm-hmm. Is he an elf? Is he an orc? Is he a human? Is he a dwarf? Is he something that we don't know? Or so what's the deal?
In the current form, in my other novel, there are the Magi. So what Agorath is, and they're kind of a race of wizards, race of
like all of them are wizards?
Magic users. Yeah, like, you know.
Okay.
Something like that. So Agorath is like the early version of that. This is kind of like they're coming to this new land for the first time. They're not quite what they are then, but they're like different They're like the origin of what that becomes.
Okay, so does he, or I don't know, does he have magic powers now?
Yes, so he has magic powers now, and so as you heard in the reading of it, they basically have destroyed their previous home by misuse of magic.
Okay. Wait, I think I vaguely remember.
So they've destroyed their home by misuse of magic, and now they've found a new home, but when they show up, it is not unoccupied.
Okay, it's good that you said that, because when I was reading it, right, I was thinking of like Lewis and Clark, or John, what's his face, when he came over to the Americas, what's his name?
John.
I got
the guy.
The guy.
Smith.
Wait, it's
Christopher Columbus.
I imagine that guy like finds a Bob Ross painting, right, and then he sees a wolf. And my thought was, if I were him, my first immediate thought wouldn't be, oh, this land is occupied, better go find the new place. My original thought was either, yay, food, starving, or predator, I'm going to die.
Right. So that was kind of like, so as you read it, I'm sure I've been struggling on, how to mix the description of the land in with he's meeting this new character thing. So like, I'm glad you said Bob Ross painting, because that was definitely like, I wanted to show the difference of like, no, they like burned their homeworld to ash,
to nothing,
and now they're coming into like, it's literally the pasture is greener on the other side.
Literally.
Yeah.
So has this Agorath, has he ever seen anything like this before?
Yes. So he would like their downfall. I think we're not to this point yet. Probably happened really fast. Like they were a growing civilization. They were using magic. They were doing all this stuff. And then like they just started doing it wrong and messing it up. And all of a sudden they burned up everything.
Okay. They got greedy.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Basically got greedy, looking for too much power. And,
like dwarves in Lord of the Rings. They dug too deep. Okay. So I guess me being co-author here, I have this question. Is Agorath the main character?
Well, I think so.
Okay.
Because from my previous writings, none of you know, but that sometimes my main characters are fluid. Who knows which one is the, Anyways.
They're all the main characters.
So I'm not quite sure how to play it. So they're coming into this new world and they discover the race of wolves. That's what we're discovering.
Cool.
So I don't know if I want to end up like it's a Agorath and a wolf character are like the main characters, and they're trying to like forge peace between the two of them.
Okay.
I don't know who the bad guy is right now. There's no bad guy. I don't know what the conflict is.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like, so they're coming into a new world. They're meeting this new race. They run into this new race. That's really the only race that's in the land. So what do you like? I don't know where who's the bad guy? I'm not really sure.
So do you want the main conflict of this story, of this particular book, to be more of a smaller scale B story compared to the grand scheme of things? Like, are you wanting the wolves to be like in every chapter, or are you wanting it to be like they are coming at the key points? Yeah. Like the wolf or the Loth cats in Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah. So my thought is that this is a standalone novel. So it's not like a series or anything. It's just one book.
Okay.
It's one story. And at the end of it, they've made peace and they've discovered the Wolf Riders. They've created... So
that's the background. End of the book.
In my other novel, you have these group of people called hunters who are wolf riders, essentially. And they are a group of warriors who ride winged wolves. That's how it goes. So
that's pretty cool.
Basically, this is the beginning of that. So like they start off fighting and they slowly figure out like we're better together.
Right.
And then they discover by coming together, they actually have magical power, which then eventually forms the basis of the rest of the history going forward.
Okay. So, I'm going to I'm going to poke the bear here. Okay. So magic systems.
Oh, jeez. He's always on me about the magic system.
Because sometimes they don't make sense, and here's why. I got to get on you about this.
I know.
So, in your other story,
Mhm.
right? The only people that have magic are the hunters, and that's because the wolves and the hunters come together, right? Until the magi come back, right?
Yes.
And then there's all these people using magic without wolves. Okay, so you just said that this Agorath, who is like the origins of the magi a little bit.
So, remember previously we discussed the origins of what we've called the Evertree. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
And how it permeates into the earth and the ground and the world and creates magic, and that's where they draw from.
Gotcha.
So there also needs to be that discovery of like the magic of the earth producing magic in them. It's a lot of, you know,
wibbly wobbly,
timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Image of Doctor Who.
Poof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna write the next bit.
Okay.
Wait. Actually, there was one more. Sorry. Before we get to that, there was one more.
I will say that one particular line I really liked that I was like, I'm just going to pat myself on the back for this one line was the, right here, this part where it says, the second sentence, crisp air and forest greens, mountain ranges filled with snow, and life far off into the distance, not darkness and the smog of rancid sky. I like that one.
It was long. I liked it.
That's the Bob Ross part.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
It's got all the things. I'll have a video to show you anyway. Okay, so I'm writing the next bit, right?
Okay.
So I like where it's at. I like where it's going. I like how it's literally in the.
Did you have a thing? You said you had one more thing.
Oh yeah, it spoke. Does it speak their language?
So here's the thing. As you know, I don't know how the wolves communicate. Even in my current novel, which I'm revising and going through.
I kid you not.
They
talk the entire time.
I haven't decided if they can actually speak words or if they talk through their minds, or I want them. This is my struggle. Mechanically, yes, them speaking like English is weird.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Or do they have their own language that no one else can understand?
Except the hunters.
Or do they speak in their minds? Little cliche, but they could do it. But I want them to have language because I want it to be known that they are intelligent. So, like,
right.
I know they always do, like, dragons are intelligent and they, whatever. But, like, I don't want them to just become, like, the beast. Like, I want them to be
right.
an intelligent race. Like, they were here first.
Right. And you want to show how they're intelligent.
Right.
So they're not an Appa from, like, Avatar The Last Airbender.
No. Like, they are their own race of people who are intelligent and have their own civilization, and they don't need anyone else. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's where my struggle comes in. Like, how do what do they do?
Okay. So I have to write the next bit.
Yes, you do. That's how this works.
Yes. So what does it say? Or is that for me to come up with?
That's for you to come up with. Come up with it. So,
so you're passing on the speaking mechanic to me, like,
yeah. Well, so basically, yes. Like, you're gonna pick it up, go with what you know. It's short enough at the moment where you could do a little bit of editing.
Okay.
Through the first part to kind of get you in the, because I do think that's going to be an interesting, like, you have a different writing style than me. So,
right.
But we do want it to sound like, we don't want it to be like, oh, I wrote this and Aiden wrote that and I wrote this and Aiden, like,
yeah.
We don't want it to be a Justice League situation where it's Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon. I'm just going to call it out. Like, which scene was done by which director.
Yeah.
So if you go through and kind of like change a few words and make it a little less me, a little more you, but still me, and then you add your part, and then I'll edit a little bit of yours, and then it kind of like melds together better.
Okay. So, which, by the way, that would be a really cool game to do later, is who wrote this, and like
who wrote which scene,
and somebody just a line and whatever. We have to try to guess who did it. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Okay. So there's Wolf, there's Agorath, there's at least one boat.
Yes, and I don't know yet if like Agorath is here alone and then he's waiting for more to come. That could be a thing. or they're here with him, but he's just happens to have run into the wolf first.
Right.
Is the wolf just a scout? How close? There's a lot of
There's things we could
mechanics to
so
figure
there's
out.
lots of things I could do here.
Yeah, there's a lot of places you could do things.
Okay,
So.
cool. And that is another thing, is we've talked about this, is sharing the creative powers here, which I think is going to be hard because this is in his world.
It's true.
So it's going to be a little bit of him
but it takes a little bit of the pressure off, though.
Yeah,
It helps.
definitely.
So
definitely.
here's the next thing that you should know, though, geographically. So
Okay.
map. So he's in the forest of Duertar,
Duertar.
which is on the west side of the map that I think I've shown you before.
Isn't that from Warcraft 3? Duertar?
I came up with it, and maybe it's from something. If it's from something, we'll change it.
If it's from something, call it out. Put it down in the comments, okay?
Yeah. So anyways, we'll put the map up, and then you'll kind of know the geography. So he's coming in from the west,
Okay.
through the forest. So I don't know if I don't know what's on the other side of the forest.
Oh, so he's not in a boat.
No, he's on a boat. He's in a forest on a clearing
Oh.
on a hill where he's overlooked, which he comes into the forest. So I don't know if they walked miles and leagues upon leagues, or if they...
And they're coming in from the west.
Yeah. So they come in, and then he's up on a hill in the forest, and then he's looking out, and he can just barely see the edge of the forest. He can't
there.
quite see what's past the forest, but he kind of knows it's the edge.
Okay.
So that's where he's at. So he's maybe close to the wolf home place.
Okay.
But
They did come from boats because they were on a different continent, weren't they?
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
It could be one giant continent and just no one's ever went further than the forest. And they're just farther that way. And so they walked their way past their barren homeworld. It could be a lot of things.
This is going to be interesting.
Because everyone always says, in Lord of the Rings, the elves came over on the ships. That's the...
Yeah.
Which,
can we just talk about how the origins of every fantasy novel, they totally just... Oh, well, they came from this distant land. Or they just and then it was the time of the dwarves, and the dwarves were there. They don't actually go... That's...
To be fair, though, that started with Tolkien, who kind of kicked off the whole fantasy thing.
Right.
And it's awesome. So...
It's awesome, but come on. He didn't have
the...
time to do the whole...
Yeah. You should also know about me is I tend to fight against the hero journey, but unfortunately... That's the best type of story. So
he did his whole book. He was my main character isn't the chosen one. And just recently he's
it's got to be the chosen one.
Dang it, she's the chosen one. God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I think we've talked about everything here. If you have any ideas, if you liked what you saw, if you heard anything that you thought was funny, please put it in the comments. Like the video. It helps us out a lot. Subscribe if you're interested. Share it if you liked what you see. Have you ever tried to write a book? We want to hear about that.
Put stuff in the comments. Send us your work, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and if you have any ideas, if you're oh man, that makes me think of this, we'd love to hear it. So, please send it down in the comments. Yeah. So I'm going to, in the next video, I'm going to write my bit. Okay. I'm going to write my addition to all of this. And then after that, I'll show it to you
and we'll see you next time on Writer's Quest.
On Writer's Quest. I forgot we were naming it that.
Is that what it is, Writer's Quest, or is it Writing Quest?
It's Writer's Quest.
Writer's Quest?
It'd be really embarrassing if
Good thing we can edit.
Right. It'd be really embarrassing if we said it was Writer's Quest and it's Writing Quest.
Hold on. Checking the thing. Writing Quest.
Writing Quest.
Right.
Okay.
Hold on. Reverse. We'll see you next time on Writing Quest.
Yes. Cool.
Hey, that was pretty good.
That was good. That was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Have fun editing.
Thanks. All right, 3, 2.
Wait,
1.
everything's recording?
Everything's recording. That's recording.
Okay.
This is recording.
Do we need to
Has
clap?
been. Awesome. You turn the dog away from the microphone. Okay.